Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about conditions. Before learning the condition, we have to learn about space, colons, keywords, booleans, logical operators, and then we'll be going through the if statements. Also, we'll be learning about in operator, which is very useful. Let's start with the space and colon. So, in all other programming languages, we will be using curly braces to indicate that our block is starting, our new block is starting. And once we are done with the block, we will be using end curly braces to indicate that our blocks are ending. But in the Python, we do not have anything as such. So whenever we need to start the block, we will be using space, and we have to give two or more spaces to indicate that our block is starting. So for the same reason, in this particular example, I'm using different blocks. So one block, the parent block has started with the first line hello world, but the second line where I've given four spaces. The Python says that two or more spaces, but I'm trying to use four spaces everywhere to be consistent. And from the second line, when it started with the four spaces, it is just saying that another block is starting, and so on. Another important thing in the Python, we need to just add the colon to say that our block is going to start, our statement is going to start from the next line. About the keywords which is already predefined have been defined, provided by the Python for us to use. But we need to remember that while giving the variable names, we are not using any of these keywords. If we use the keywords as a variable name, then the special meaning, whatever these keywords are having, will be lost. But Python does not stop. It is up to us. We need to make sure that while defining the variable, we are not using any of these keywords. Things to remember: Python is case sensitive language. This means name, where we are using n as a capital and the name is small, looks similar, but these are two different names in the Python. So let's side by side take a look at the two variable name. So I'm going to define one name where I'm keeping the value temp, or let's say Tata. And another variable I have there, I am having the name HPE. So now I'm going to call the first one with the name, second one with the name Tata. So we can see that they look similar, but they're case sensitive. Capital and small has different meaning. The next is a Boolean value. So anything in Python, almost any value is validated to true if it has some sort of content. Anything in the Python will be treated as a Boolean true if it has any content. Few lines about it. Any string is true except empty string. Any number is true except 0. Any list, tuple, set, and dictionary are true except empty one. So, moral of the story is that anything which has a value will be treated as a true. False. Empty values such as empty list, empty tuple, list, dictionary, or string will be treated as a false. The number 0 and the value none is also false. This is very important while doing any comparison. We can decide that a condition is true or false. Similarly, we have a Boolean operator, like they need at least two operands to operate on. If we are looking to compare some data, we can use the equal to. We can compare two values. Similarly, not equal to, and so on. They are very similar to other programming languages. Also, we have AND, which say that more than one statement is true, or if evaluate if one statement or the other is true, if any one of them. Not, the not operator checks that if something is not true. In the if statement, it's very straightforward. I've just given a little bit heads up that we are starting the program, we are doing the comparison. Once the condition is true, we will be going to the another block. If condition is false, we'll be going to another block. Again, we can have another condition, and similarly, we can take the decision, and it could be like infinite. We can keep doing this condition check. But we need to focus here that what is the syntax in Python. So we'll start with the if, any condition or any Boolean value, and then we'll have colon and then the part of the block, part of the statement. So if condition is true, action 1 will be executed. What will happen if we have multiple conditions, or if we have two conditions, like if it is true, then action 1. If it is false, then action 2. For those cases, we can have if else clause. If condition will be evaluated, if it is true, action 1 will be treated. If it is false, it will directly go to the action 2. Remember, in this if else, we don't have any condition. We check the condition. If it is true, action 1 will happen. If it is not true, action 2. But sometimes we will be having multiple conditions we need to check, and then we need to go for the else section. For those situations, we'll be having if condition action, another condition, if condition is true, another action, and so on. We can have so many condition check. And at the end, once we are done with all the condition check, we can say that if none of the condition met, then action 3. Very similarly, we can have nested if statement. Let's say if condition is true, then we want to evaluate another condition, and so on. We can do this by nested if. Similarly, we can have if, then condition, and so on, and we can have the else part. Again, we can have the nested if else as well. So we are having if, else, and then particular else section. We can go for another condition. So we can have any nested condition on any. If condition is true, we can have further condition check on that. The same thing we are explaining here. We have some condition. If condition is false, we want to check another condition, and so on. So these kind of things will be called nested if condition. And now we want to learn about the in operator. In operator is very useful, and it is just going to check that if we are looking for any item in a list or in a tuple or in a dictionary, keys or values, it is simply going to return true if the item is available in the list or in the tuple or in the dictionary. If it is not, it will return the false. Here we have got one list with name users. We are checking admin in users. This is going to return true. The another section we have defined tuple, and then we are going to check the tuple. If in the particular tuple we have the item, it is going to say true. Otherwise, it will return false. So let's do some hands-on on it. What we said, anything, let's say Boolean, and I'm going to pass empty a tuple. It is going to be false. Let's check with the list. It is going to be false. Let's check with the dictionary. It will return false. Let's check with empty string. It is going to be false. Let's check with 0. False. Let's check with the none. These all are false. What is true? Anything. If any list has any item, like it has 0, then it is going to be true. If tuple, okay, 1, it is going to be true. Similarly, for dictionary, it is going to be true. So then we can see that if it has any content, it will be treated as a true. If it does not have content, it will be treated as false. 0 is false, none is false, and empty string is false. Apart from that, everything is true. Uh, okay, let's move on and let's do some comparison. How about 10 equal to 10? So this way we can use the Boolean operator. It is comparing and returning true or false. What will happen if I say 10 equal to 20? It is false. 10 is greater than 100. Let's say it should be saying false. So we can use the Boolean operator, and it is going to return the true or false. Let's move on, and we'll be trying to use in operator. So let's on the fly define one list with some item 11, 20, 33, and then check that item 11 in L. It is true. But if I say item 111 in L, it is going to say false. So then we can see that anything which is part of the, if it has any content, it is treated as a true, otherwise it will be treated as a false. Let's move on. A styling if statement. So while writing the examples, we saw that we can use spaces in between of the with the operators, or we can write without the spaces. If we write the spaces, it will be more readable. So we are saying that if age is less than 4, it's better than age less than 4. With the syntax, these both are true, but the first one is more readable, second one is less readable. So it is a Pipit recommendation. Later we'll be learning about the Pipit, but for now, just we'll be saying that Pipit standard, which say that how we should be writing the code. And such spacing does not affect the way Python interpret the code. It just make our code easier for us and others to read. Okay, and that's all I had for today's class. I want to thank you all for joining the class, and if you like the video, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.